Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are talking about the amazing Becca and Chrissy Teigen Glow Face Palette. So this package was sent to me a few weeks ago now, and at first I spent a good week just looking at it. I couldn't bear to touch it, and then I spent the last 2 weeks actually having a play with it and I guess trying to get a feel for the palette and figuring out sort of the pros and cons of this beautiful package. Look at this package, isn't it beautiful? I can't think of any other way that they could have package this to make it more desirable to me. So opening up the package, we have the actual palette is here, and then there's a little bit of a gift there. Check this out.
I don't know, just my own Becca Cosmetics palette. No big deal. And I hope people like it. I really am truly excited. I'm so excited for everyone to love it. We are here at my house getting to shoot this amazing campaign.
How cool is that? Now, I do seem to remember when I saw on Insta stories some of the people that got to go to the launch, I do believe they showed that there. I might be wrong, but I think that's what happened. But how beautiful is that presentation? Everything is so pink and sort of bronzy rose gold, and it's just like, it's me. So here she is. This is available now. It launched late last week in Sephora, and everything about this palette has been fast. From the moment they announced it to when it got released, it was only a matter of weeks. It wasn't one of those long, drawn-out productions where it's coming next year or anything like that. They announced it. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, I need it. And then it was released pretty soon after. Even the, I guess the space in between the US and the Australian launch was actually really short as well. From memory, the Jaclyn Hill palette took a little bit longer to get here, but I'm so surprised about that. It's amazing. Becca seemed to be just like, this has only just come out. Everyone's gone, oh my gosh. And they've already announced that they're launching a whole bunch of new like duochrome highlighters. So they're killing it. They're pumping stuff out at the moment. But let's get onto this palette. This is now available, as I said, in Sephora. It is $78 US, and it contains 4 products. Everything about this, just like the colours and the person that they kind of got to collaborate with and the shades inside, everything screams, I think, warmth, prettiness and summer, which, you know, is fitting for us. Despite that, I think this is one of those palettes that I will actually reach for a lot in summer, when I'm a little bit warmer feeling and like looking, and maybe get a little bit more colour to me. But this is a beautiful palette. The cover here has this obviously pretty pink and peachy kind of pattern, and then the top is that sort of plastic where, like, if you put your fingernail in it, it makes a dent, but it bounces back. Do you know what I mean? But of course, everything is beautiful and pink and sort of rose gold and reflective. And this has been one of the most difficult things to photograph in my entire life. Looking at the inside of the palette, we have 2 large pans and then 2 smaller pans. And the first thing that you'll see is the actual rose gold highlighter from Becca. Now this is the or the Shimmering Skin Perfector, I should say. So this is the like standard rose gold shade that you can purchase already in a compact. I've never purchased this one, so this is new to my collection, which is cool. We then have a brand new blush, which is called Hibiscus Bloom, and that's in that pretty kind of shimmery finish as well. We have one of the brand new Sunlit bronzers, but this is actually not one of the shades that's available in the compacts. This is actually a unique shade. And then of course we have, I guess, the star of the show, which is the Beach Nectar highlighter. Now the quality, the softness of the powders, the colour payoff, they are all of the regular Becca standard. I think apart from the Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, there's never been anything from Becca where I've gone, oh, the quality is not so great. The palette is well made. It's quite hefty and heavy. Everything inside looks like it's nicely protected. There is a large, very heavy mirror in it. It's a very good quality. It's not a plasticky one mirror. And it's all in all just beautifully made. In my opinion, I think this one is actually prettier than the Jaclyn Hill. And it's just my aesthetic, but I actually really, really like this one. Now, in terms of the shades inside, there is a definite shift towards a more medium to dark skin tone with this palette. And I guess it's a bit of a reverse of what usually happens with palettes. Most products, or a lot of products, come out and people complain, especially women of colour complain that they're not suitable for them. Perhaps the highlights are a little bit ashy. There was a little bit of talk about that with the Jaclyn Hill one, where Champagne Pop was a little bit too ashy for darker skin tones. So then Prosecco Pop was, I guess, was kind of like the adjustment that they made. It's a beautiful shade on its own, but it's more suited to darker skin tones. In this case, the rose gold shade is far too dark for me. I personally can't use that. My skin tone, I wouldn't say I'm fair. I'd say I'm light, leaning towards medium, but not even. But I think the fact that I have sort of dark hair and darker features, I guess I can get away with a little bit darker kind of look. But this is something that people with very, very fair skin tone are going to struggle with. But I mean, that's okay. You know, like I said, when so much stuff is produced with that kind of skin tone in mind, there are going to be some times when it's not the case. I kind of like it. So as I said, that one there is too dark for me. When I put it on as a highlighter, it actually is too coloured. Like I can actually see it on the skin. I was actually surprised that I could wear the bronzer. When I first opened the pan, I was like, oh, that's going to be far too dark for me. But the formula is the same one as the Sunlit bronzers. So if you watched my review of those, you'll know that they're actually a beautiful, sort of not quite sheer, but they're definitely a buildable product. So even though it's a darker tone, I can still personally wear it. The blush is super duper pigmented. Like, you need to use the smallest amount. And I suppose if you do have a darker skin tone, you know, it's still going to show up on your skin. But with my skin, like, just tap that brush in. And then onto the star of the show is the Beach Nectar. And this is just beautiful. My skin tone can just get away with this, and it gives off this beautiful, like, peachy glow. Any darker, like even 5% darker, and it would be too dark for me. And it's going to be a little too dark for a lot of skin tones. But for me, it does give a really nice glow. I suppose it's the same as Opal. In the pan, Opal looks quite dark. But then when I put it on my skin tone, Opal just gives me a very natural, glowy look. When I say natural, like natural skin tone, that glow is unreal. But all in all, I think it's a really, like, well done palette. I'm really pleased that I got that shade of rose gold. Again, I'm not going to be able to use it as a highlighter, but I have been using it on my eyes, and it's just stunning. The blush is something that's very, very beautiful, and I will definitely reach for that. The bronzer, again, I do have quite a few bronzers now, so maybe I'm not so excited about that. But that Beach Nectar is just lovely. I'm really, really counting on them making this Beach Nectar a colour for itself, or a shade for itself. Put it in the full compact, make it permanent. Let's do it. So I am wearing all of these products on my face today. I have obviously used blush. I've tried to be very light-handed, but it did come out looking a lot rosier than I thought. I have used the bronzer all around my face. I have used the Beach Nectar on the high points of my cheeks and also on my nose. And then I have used just a little bit of the rose gold highlighter on my eyes. So I have tried to use everything. As you can see, it looks like quite good. It doesn't look like I've used too dark products. So yeah, overall a pretty positive review from me. I'll insert some swatches of this in natural light here, so you can see those. So yeah, I guess my opinion is that if you are very fair, you might like to give this a miss, unless you are an absolute Chrissy Teigen fanatic, which, how could you not be? The woman is fabulous. But otherwise, it might just be something that you might like to purchase as you're a collector. But if you're not, yeah, I think if you're very, very fair, then maybe give this one a miss and leave it for your sort of more medium skin tone girls. A lot of people have sort of said, well, I've got the Jaclyn Hill palette. Do I need the Chrissy Teigen palette? I can't answer that question for you if you need it or not. Do I need as much lipstick as I have? Yes. Yeah, the palettes are quite different. This one does contain 5 shades, don't mind mine, my Champagne Pop actually cracked. But it does contain 5 shades, but if I'm honest with you, I very rarely use that blush topper because it was just too shimmery for me. Champagne Pop, I'm a fan of. The Prosecco Pop is a little warmer than I usually go, but it's quite nice. And the 2 blushes slash that one there that I actually often used as a kind of, not quite contour, but a bit lower than my blush. I enjoyed all of those. I did really like that palette, but I do think this palette is more my jam. Even though that shade is too dark for me. If this palette contained Opal, it would be my absolute like ride or die palette, because it just has such beautiful combinations. That beach plus opal plus those two other face products would have made this, again, just absolutely perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this palette. I think it's they've done a really nice job. The packaging is, it's so photogenic, but it's so difficult to photograph. The amount of times I've had to try and angle myself in a way where my camera or myself doesn't somehow appear in that photo, in those photos. There's just so many times I've tried to do that. But it's a beautiful palette. I'm not just saying that because it was sent to me. This is probably one, would I have purchased it? I think this is one of those ones that maybe I wouldn't have initially gone, yes, I'm going to buy it, because in photos and what I'd seen online, it did look like it was going to be too dark for me. But if I went in store and I saw it, then there's a high probability that I actually would have bought this for myself. Plus, you know, Chrissy Teigen. Alright, so that's a wrap up, I guess. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to head on over to the blog so you can see some more photos and have a look at the swatches and all sorts of stuff like that. But as usual, thanks for watching, and thanks for coming and spending some time with me in my little pink corner of the internet. I'll catch you next time. Bye.